All right, we'll get started here in just a moment. I want to give a chance for everybody to get logged into the room here on noon on Wednesday. We'll be going through this webinar in just one moment, but just off the top of my head, we're seeing the markets bounce back a little bit. And here on our page, our stock market overview, the stock on top, believe it or not, Facebook, anybody who's watching the news, or I guess you wouldn't even have to be watching the news to know this, but it's bouncing back. It's up $5 today, so that's a little here nor there, but that's a bit of a sign that we weren't able to take out yesterday's extreme lows around, I think, 162, got down to 163 today, and then had a $10 reversal bounce, so maybe the worst is over for that. So just another minute or so, and we'll let everybody get logged in and settled during our lunch hour and do our webinar here. So just give me about 30 more seconds. Hello and welcome. My name's Alan Nuckman. For Bar Chart today, we're going to be talking about working with watch lists, going through the process of the easy process of how to build, maintain a watch list to search for possible trading candidates, which is easy and free with your sign-in on membership on barchart.com. We'll build a watch list, we'll organize it, and we'll maintain it for viewing. Also, we'll demo analyzing the watch list using flip charts and custom views. So I'll be answering the questions at the end, so if you want to type them in, I'll go through those at the end of the this webinar here today as we demonstrate the features and the fun of the watch list to help make your organization of this information a lot easier for you. So I'm signed in. So what you do next to get to the watch list, you've got two easy choices. You can click on the My Account, which would take you to the watch list, or you can go to My Bar Chart. My Bar Charts, go to the tools on the left-hand side. That'll bring you to the watch list as well. So a watch list is exactly as it states. It's a list of stocks that you've got your eyes on, something we're keeping track of, and that we can use them for further evaluation. So we're narrowing down the universe of stocks from 9,000 stocks to make it more manageable. That's the process of creating watch lists. You can do them by sector, you can do them by price. There's so many different ways to evaluate the markets, and depending on your trading style, obviously this is all very customizable, but the idea is to put them in lists so that you can very quickly and efficiently evaluate them for trading candidates and opportunities, because that's why we do what we do here. So you can see this just defaulted to my Dow list. The Dow is 30 stocks, and I can quickly at a glance see what's happening with my Dow stocks. I want to create a watch list. Let's create our own new watch list. That's a default watch list that's been saved. Makes my life easier. Just take a glance at the Dow 30. Again, in my opinion, the Dow 30 isn't as significant as the S&P, but very quickly you can look and see what those 30 well-known household stocks are doing. The S&P is a more broad market barometer and gives you a better indication of what the market's doing, because if something big is happening in any one Dow stock, a Boeing or a Caterpillar, it can have a disproportionate impact on how the Dow is doing. So let's create a little watch list, and let's talk about what's happening today. Today is Fed Day, Fed Day Wednesday. So let me give you some inside information, everybody. We're going to raise rates in 1 hour. Well, actually, 55 minutes. It's a done deal. Nothing is for sure 100%, but this is as close to 100% as you can get. So we're raising rates 0.25% today. That'll be announced at 1 o'clock. The market's rallying going into that, so that looks like a pretty healthy sign. So who's impacted by the rate hike? Well, banks. Their profit margin increases. So let's create a new watch list, and let's call it banks. And, okay, hang on one second here. And now I want to add some names to it. So off the top of my head, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Citigroup. Just making a list of banks that are, that I want to maybe pay attention to as an opportunity, because like I said, they've been on a tear here recently in the last 6 months to a year, as interest rates are starting to creep up off of extreme lows, obviously, but that helps improve their profit margin and also the idea of less regulation. So the banks had kind of stayed behind with the stock market rally over the last couple of years, so they still have some catching up to do. And so do we go through Morgan Stanley? Let me think of who else off the top of my head here. Banks, financial institutions. Citi, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America. Okay, so click on Add, and there you go. We've created a watch list of the bank stocks. It's a new watch list. Now, I could enter them one at a time. You can put them in with a comma or a space, regardless of what you want to do. So we've saved it to our watch list. And then if we want to add some more, so we can add them in here. So we just click on Edit. Here we go. Add. Here we go. And USB. What's this? Deutsche Bank. All right. So let's click on those and add. When you add new symbols, they get added to the bottom of the list. All right. So remember that. So a new symbol will go to the bottom of the list, and then you're able to sort them. But before we get there, let's show another way. Let's just save this. So this is saved as banks. We'll come back to that. But I wanted to show creating a new watch list. Maybe you have an Excel file or a Google file or a Yahoo file of a spreadsheet of stocks that you want to import and create a watch list here at Bar Chart. That's easy peasy. So let me just open up. I should have done this before we started, but open up a Excel file, and I want to pull in some of these from a list, highlight them, copy, and so we're going to call this Excel for demonstration purposes. Just right click, and it's already formatted to accept those and create another list. So now I've got an Excel list from a spreadsheet. So another thing to notice is that there can only be one instance, one symbol, one example of a symbol per watch list. So you can't, it won't duplicate. It'll let you know, and it'll change that for you if you had a duplicate in the same watch list. Now you can add a symbol to any of these, and there's multiple ways to do this. So let's just save. So here's my watch list from my Excel file. You can click on the links on the right-hand side, and I can add to this watch list in other ways from other parts of the website. So let me give you an example of that. We go back to the stock market overview, and we were just talking about Facebook being a big reversal today, up $5. Now it's up $4, but that's a big reversal. That's $10 off the low so far, with it being in the news, obviously, every day this week. But maybe the worst is over there. So if I want to put Facebook into a watch list, just click on the links, add to watch list, and we just created this Excel watch list. So I will add it there. And then it says it's now added to that watch list. So you're able to do that from other parts of the site. You're also able to add a symbol up here. So let's just think off the top of my head, Google. So Google will pull up the information for Google, and it's very easy to add it to the watch list. From here as well. Here's a blue star. Blue star, add it to the watch list. I want to add it to, it's already in tech. So now I want to make sure that I add it to Excel. Okay. So I want to go back to tech, and I want to add it to tech as well because I inadvertently deleted it. There we go. Now it's back in tech. So you can do it from a quote page as well and get added to the list. So very easy, very convenient. Now you can edit your watch list. Let's go back to my bar chart. You can edit your watch list on the fly as well. Click on the edit, and here's our list. If I wanted to take somebody out, I could just click on the red bar, and it's out. Again, a reminder, new symbols are always added to the bottom. So if this Facebook on the bottom, you know, that's in the news, I want it on the top. I want it to be on the top of my list. So how do I move it? I can click on the arrow. It'll automatically punch it up to the top. So now you can see Facebook's on the top. Or I can add some spaces here and kind of drag and drop some of this as well. So that just moves Starbucks to the top, and hang on, I highlighted that inadvertently. I can also add a blank row. So if I want to, for spacing reasons, want to have a space at the top or between any set of these values, I can do that, and then shift that order as well. So here we go. Click the. Let's save this, and you'll see now there's a blank here. So we can put a blank in anywhere we want to separate our data if we want on our watch list. So that's important to know, that all new symbols will always be added to the bottom of the watch list. So we've saved our watch list. That's what we've done. So now you're able to view this and analyze the data a little bit further. Now, there's a couple of different views on our watch list. First off, this is the main view that has the last and the change and the high and the low and the volume and so forth. A normal view. There's also a technical view that's set up here that has some technical analysis on a 20-day average volume, 52-week high and low, and so forth and so forth. And then there's a performance view. Performance view, weighted out, alpha, 52-week change, and so forth. And so forth. So there's different views of your watch list, and there's different ways to take advantage of that. There's also an extended hours view. So after hours, if there's some earnings that comes out in the afternoon or pre-market, you can see what was happening in the pre-market. You remember the markets were down here this morning, so that's what was happening before the markets opened today. So get back to the main view. Also, there's an intraday, which is live in the market high and lows during the course of the day, or if you're a longer-term trader and you're really only concerned about the end of day, you don't care how the market gets there, you're only concerned of where the price is at the end of the day, you click on that end-of-day data so you can see this is where Cisco closed yesterday, 44.37. You can see that would be on the 20th, which was Tuesday. So get back to intraday data. That's live and flowing. Live BATS data feeds in these stocks, so you're seeing that live BATS data. Maybe within one of these watch lists, you want to have something to compare it to. I had added in $DOWI, which is the Dow itself, into this watch list of 30 Dow stocks. So you've got your 30 Dow stocks, and you want to use that as kind of your benchmark. How is the Dow doing versus these individual stocks? Like I said, here we've got something like 3M up a big deal, Chevron up a big deal. Those are heavy price stocks. So if you have them ranked in price, you can see these are the most important stocks in the Dow, just the way the Dow is weighted. Not that that matters, but just so you know, the Dow is weighted by market price, not share capitalization like the S&P. So the highest dollar stocks in the Dow get the most importance and the most weight. So a big move in Boeing is going to have a really big impact on the Dow itself. So you're able to sort on these. Now these are the lowest price stocks. You're able to sort on any of these columns. What I might want to look at is to look and see the performance of some of these Dow stocks versus the market itself. So the Dow itself over the last 52 weeks is up 20%. So just off the top here, we've got 3M keeping right in line with what the Dow is doing. But look at Boeing. That's why the Dow is up so big so much this year, because Boeing is the most expensive stock in the Dow, and it's up 90%. So that weight has given the Dow a lot of power, a lot of strength. Now, if I wanted to add some notes, we'll do that. But another thing I wanted to show you while we're here is that if you want to give yourself some more space, you go to this blue arrow here on the left. That would expand this data set here, so you get to see a little bit more information. And that might come into play if you were using some of the custom views. If you wanted to look at, this one's just called lots of info. Now you're able to find any of there's endless combinations and permutations of some of these data's columns that you're able to put into your watch list. So this is just a custom view, but you notice that there's a lot of information here, so maybe you want to spread it out. So that's one advantage of expanding the window, so you don't have to scroll across the bottom and move the little tab at the bottom, and it's all right there for you. So that's an example, and again, there's many custom views that you're able to create here on the watch list that have any possible column that you want. As far as data sets, fundamental, technical, opinions, and so forth. So there's a lot there. But I wanted to go back. Now we're back at the Dow. So let's go back to just the main view on the Dow. I want to make it simple. And we'll get into the charts here in just a second. That I wanted to be able to just sort this. So if I go into the performance once again, the performance view, let's say I just want to sort this based on how the 52-week highs and lows, so you can see which ones are the best. And we talked about Boeing up 90% in the Dow, so that sorted this column here, and you can see which ones have done well. What's interesting to me is, look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stocks that are still negative over the last 52 weeks, and we've had a what did we determine was a 20% run in the Dow itself. So here's the Dow itself up 20%. So maybe some of these stocks might be some opportunities to focus on, as they might be looking to play some catch up. Now looking at something like GE is down 52%. So Procter & Gamble down 14%, but these are still negative in the last 52 weeks. Maybe even just look at the year-to-date change, if we want to look at that. How many are negative year-to-date? So you could see that it's not as broad as a rally as you might think when you really get into this further. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 of the Dow 30 stocks. Again, I'm not good with math, but that's almost half of the Dow stocks are red in 2018, but the Dow itself is just barely above the Mendoza line. Looking at the Dow itself, it's, what are we up? 0.5% on the year. So that's with today's positive action. So that's given the Dow a little bit of a push. All right, so let's look at an individual stock, and let's say GE. I'm keeping an eye on GE, and I want to make some notes for myself. That if GE can get back above 14, I want to pay attention to. So maybe it's kind of basing out here, and so let's look and say we're looking for a breakout, and if it gets above 14, we'll put in that high note. Now what will happen here is a note, you can see there's a little gray box, meaning that there's a note in play. Now when it gets triggered, on a breakout, a high flag, it would get triggered, it would turn green. And if we put something down below, and let's just do this an example to make it easy. So let's say that a low flag of 1390, just to show you what it looks like, because we're at 1384 right now. So then this would trigger, you can see, there it's triggering red. So that's letting us know that it's below the threshold that we had set in there. Now, that's a nice feature that you can see when you're logged in. When you're logged in, these will appear on your watch list. Nothing automatically gets sent to you, but it's a nice feature that when you log in, you can say, oh, well, look, something's triggered here that maybe I want to start paying closer attention to. Okay. So now we talked a little bit about the custom views. I already went into that a little bit, but the key is that you're able to, this is customizable to set up with any parameters that you wanted. These are just some that I had saved for myself, and using different variables. Here we're looking at 1-year return, 3-year return, 5-year return. So there are 1,000,001 and that the 1,000,001 different variables here that we can input for our different columns and categories to evaluate our stocks. But those are in custom views, and that's really a whole nother webinar on how to do that. But the important thing is that this is customizable. So for your individual needs. You're also able to determine where your watch list opens up. So individually, there's the default view that when you open up this particular website, that it'll open up to the watch list that you're looking for, and that's in the default view settings here for our watch list to do that. There's also a help icon. You have any questions on your watch list? A lot of information right here. Your free membership, you're able to create 20 watch lists. Premier members, and I'll talk about that here at the end. Premier members get unlimited amount of watch lists, and this goes through creating the watch list, editing the watch list, adding symbols, the different views. We've gone through some of these, and so forth. So that can be very helpful. Or it will be recorded, and you're able to watch this video at your leisure. We'll have this sent out to you via email after sometime here today, and you'll be able to get that information. So I showed you how to collapse the screen to get additional data on the screen, and also I wanted to demonstrate, as opposed to using this to collapse this to expand the screen, you're able to click on that right arrow. That arrow will give you the information. It'll pop out. So to create a new browser window gives you more room for the columns and your custom view. And to close that, it'll take you back to your watch list. So that'll take you back to the watch list we're at. All right, so the second phase of this is now to analyze your watch list. Let's use this watch list to help us find trading candidates, because that's what we're here for. That's why we watch the markets. We watch the markets so we can find investment candidates. Markets are going to move up, down, or nowhere, and it's our job to evaluate the opportunities wherever they may be, and do so. Everybody has different styles and approaches to attacking the markets, and that's individual based on you, and that's what's nice about this, that this is so customizable that you're able to sort this so that you're getting the information that you want. All right, so let's talk about using flip charts and making it easy to do here. Let's just take a look at 3M. Click on the plus symbol, and you're going to see this expand some information, some quick information right here. And if I want to expand any one of these, just let's click on the daily chart, and the daily chart will appear, and you can evaluate the charts, different time frames, different studies, different variables on here. But what I want to show you here is using the flip chart feature for this. So let's go back to my bar chart and go back to our list. I want to show you an easier way to just kind of evaluate your list very quickly to try and find these candidates. So here you've got your 30 Dow stocks and the Dow itself, so I guess that would be 31. So if we click on flip charts, many of our listeners should be familiar with the flip charts feature. The charts just quickly appear, and they're all in a ribbon across the top of the page, so we can quickly just evaluate the charts and able to change the time duration of our flip charts. So I can quickly just go through the different stocks here. Let me get it on the board. So there we go. So Dow, 3M, Boeing, Caterpillar. If I want to skip over, let's say I just want to go to Coke, just advance on over. and you're getting that information. So there's also an arrow here on the right-hand side just to move across and just quickly evaluate the charts. DuPont, wow, DuPont looks like it's gotten beaten down. Exxon, we have oil up today. Oil is at 1-month highs, so maybe we're bottoming out in Exxon after that big fall. Funny thing, side note, Exxon, this drop in Exxon, why did that happen? Profit taking after they announced they made $20 billion profit for the year. So I guess people said, well, you know, that's good. Let's take some profit on our positions, and then we saw some unwinding in Exxon. So this is just a quick flip charts, and these are all the stocks across the top in our ribbon that we have in our watch list. So we're very quickly able to move through those. And if we wanted to, instead of going from 6-month charts, let's say I wanted to look at 1-month charts, that changes all of these charts automatically, and boom, we can move forward. Changing the time frame, we can also add some templates, and people should be familiar with, those familiar with flip charts, you can have overlaying studies or indicators that they're built into the chart. So if I wanted to look at, let's say, Trend Spotter, which is a very nice bar chart indicator, and what we're looking for here is a breakout between those red and blue dots out of a range. So I can very quickly apply my Trend Spotter, and it gets automatically added to every one of these stocks on this watch list. So if we look here, Goldman Sachs looking like it's holding this near-term support. You can see where these green dots have kind of bottomed out here. So that's quick Trend Spotter usage. It's just an automatic template that I might want to use to quickly evaluate. Maybe I want to look at moving averages. Here we go. The moving averages are set up, and they get applied to each and every chart that we use, or stochastics, whatever I'm using as far as my flip charts templates on here. So there's a quick example of 3 of those. So if I wanted to investigate further and maybe apply some of this, let's go back to the Trend Spotter. We talked about there were a handful of stocks that were negative on the year for the S&P, and then we could just maybe look at this Trend Spotter and find some of these that are maybe bottoming out and trying to find a base and move forward. Then I could just move through here and go through these chart templates one by one, and it goes quickly if everything's all set up here, and look for some opportunities and see what we have as far as new candidates, potential new candidates that we want to investigate further in our watch list. What's really nice about this watch list, and one of the best features, and let's just go back, and one of the best features of this watch list, and this is just a basic one, this is just the Dow 30, that I'm able to have this watch list sent to me at the end of day. So I click on end of day watch list. Now I've got multiple watch lists in here, so I can click a box and it will send me the end of day data automatically. Then I could choose, do I want the main view, technical view, performance view, whatever view I so choose, but let's just say I want the main view, just the highs and lows. At the end of the day, I get an automatic email sent to my email box that I've signed up for barchart.com, and I'll get that every day. So every user will get the main view for free. Premiers can choose the different email formats for the custom views so they want. So I'm able to customize this and use some of the custom views because I'm a Premier member here at barchart.com. All right, so we'll get to that in a minute. We also want to be able to organize our watch lists. Let's talk about that since we have multiple watch lists now. We've got the bank list that we created. We've got the Excel list we created, Dow list. There's also a tech list that I had put in there for the, I think it was the S&P one. It was the NDX and NASDAQ 100. So we're able to change the order of these watch lists or delete. Let's say I don't want that Excel watch list anymore. Just click on the red button, take it out, and so that watch list is deleted. I'm able to change the order of these as well and sort this list. So you're able to sort the list alphabetically. If you had multiple lists, like I said, free members get 20 watch lists and Premier members get unlimited watch lists. So if you have got a whole bunch of these, maybe you want to sort them alphabetically by name, and so forth and so forth. So you're able to do that, change the order, and you organize the watch list. What I want to show now are a couple of good, interesting features. So let's go back to just the basic watch list here, and just pick one of these. I want to get into a little bit more advanced feature, and let's pull some watch lists here that we're going to use the stock screener to screen some of the watch lists. So you're able to take this list and use the screener feature to filter and find some trading candidates. So looking at this Dow list, I'll want to apply the stock screener. So I want to go to Stocks, Stock Screener. So I'll select the screener here. It's weighted alpha. Add a filter. Lists, watch lists. So then click on a watch list. So let's look at tech, and then using that stock screener, I'm getting one trading candidate based upon that information, the weighted alpha evaluation. So I'm getting one candidate. I'm getting the AMD. If I want to get some further information on AMD, what's AMD? Just click on the plus button, Advanced Micro Devices, bunch of information on this. We can investigate further. So that's using the stock screener and some of your filters to maybe find some candidates. There are also a couple other ways to attack this as well. I wanted to go back and take a look at something that I had forgot to mention, that I think I had some futures in here, some futures, watch list of futures, and we can look at that in a second here. So back to the stock screener here. We're going to go back to the list filter. So we're able to screen on the watch list. So this, for Premier users, we're able to take it another step farther and use something like trend spotter buys and flip charts and templates here to take it another step further. So back to the main watch list, I wanted to look at one of the lists that I created. Here we go, futures. I know there are a lot of futures followers here, and it all comes back to commodities, in my opinion. That's what drives the markets. People have to watch the futures even if you may not be trading them. Keep an eye on what's going on with gold, oil, interest rates, and stock indexes, because obviously they're the underlying common denominator that drives the market. So looking at here my watch list for my futures contracts, I've got the E-mini, gold, silver, that information here. Interesting fact is that if you wanted to look at the underlying symbol here of the E-mini for June, if I wanted to edit this list, that I've got ESM18. So we know futures contracts are monthly duration, monthly expiration. If I don't want to have to update that every month on this list, you can put in *0, and that'll always put in the default front month. So if I went ES *0 0 and then save that, I'm changing that so that that'll automatically show me whatever the front month is for the E-mini S&P with that stars 0. As you can see, we have that. So you'll have the front month S&P, the front month gold, the front month silver, and this automatically takes care of that for us. So I'm going to answer some questions here in a minute. Hopefully we've gone through a good deal of information here today. And I talked about the stock screeners. One of the advantages of the Premier account is that you're able to use the stock screener to filter the watch list. It's a Premier feature. Now you can get all this get this information here with a few exceptions. Is automatically you just sign in with your bar chart, sign in with your email for your free account. The Premier accounts, you can get a 30-day trial for free. 30-day trial for free, and after that it's $29.95 a month, or $199.95 for a year. But what that works out to be, instead of $29.95 a month, you're getting 5 months for free if you do a 1-year subscription advance. So that's one of the advantages of being a Premier member, is you get additional information. But you're getting a discount if you're going to get the 1-year service here. Now we'll be doing more webinars, and you're automatically signed up if you're at this webinar right now. That you'll get signed up to receive a recording of this, obviously, and to receive additional webinar updates. So we'll be doing these every couple of weeks. So you'll get a notification that's coming on the way. Let me answer some questions here off the top and move forward with this a little bit. So feel free to put them in the question box here, and I'll be happy to help guide you along as best I can. So let me just, I had the questions over here. We got the Dow up 99 right now. All right, let me stop at the, okay. It says, do we have to be a member to have a full screen like yours? No, you can use the pop-out feature, this arrow here, to pop it out in another window. Or there's also this blue box on the left-hand side to expand the data window as well. So that's a little bit easier. So a question about adding futures contracts with a 0, a star and 0, and then a star and 1, and a star and 2, so you can get out the deferred months. Right. So sometimes you want to, sometimes markets, not to get too off in the weeds, sometimes markets like gold are cost of carry, meaning that the front months and the back months will all be moving in tandem. So if gold moves up, typically gold moves up $9, we'll have the front month April, then July, then the further out months will all move that same amount. But it could be another market, like a seasonal market like corn, whereas you're looking at July corn has a different movement on the day than a December corn. So you're able to have multiple months. But when it comes to futures, it's important that you trade months that have liquidity. You don't want to be buying months that are too far deferred out if there's not a lot of buyers and sellers. Typically what most people do is they'll be trading the front months, and then when that month is coming to, coming due, coming close to the first notice date, then you'll shift over. And that recently just happened in the S&P. In the last couple of weeks, we shifted over from trading the March S&P to the June S&P. So there's safety in being where the volume is if it is a cost of carry market. The question is the data real time on Watchlist? So the data from BATS is real time, and we're also in for futures and ETFs. It is delayed. So you're getting delayed data on futures via the exchanges, and with equities you're getting live BATS data. Where would I go to learn about analyzing criteria and which values are the best to input for high probability wins? Mainly with options. Well, thank you, Todd. That's my wheelhouse. That's what I do. I'm a high probability options trader, and I want to put odds on my side. Options have a lot of advantages. I think options get a lot of bad talk when they're really all about probability, and it's about buying the right option to put you in the best position for success. I'll be doing some webinars on that here in the near future. And so we can talk about that more, but I think there are many advantages to options. If you're an options buyer, obviously you have limited risk, but you need to buy the right option. You need to buy an option that has enough time for you to be right and has a high probability of success. And that's the balance. And unfortunately, people lose money when they trade options because novice traders typically buy cheap out of the money options that have very little time. So mathematically, unless something significant happens, it's more like a lottery ticket. So that's just a different approach to trading. I myself prefer to use options in the markets because I think they have so many advantages, and there are a million and one option plays to take advantage of any market variable, up, down, sideways, increases in price and volatility, and so forth and so on. So, computer died. I was away for a moment. Well, this is being recorded. We'll have this sent to you. Best way to use the opinion info. That's a whole nother webinar as well. Valuable opinion info on this website. It's a combination of balancing out the opinions, and you don't necessarily want to be buying when something's when everything is saying buy, because it may have already fulfilled some of its run. And the same thing, we probably don't want to be selling when something's already had an extended sell-off move. So there's a little bit of a balance, a little bit of a nuance there. It's about putting risk reward in your favor, and so forth. To set up charts with defined time frame. It's not hold. It will hold your last settings, and if in your flip charts, it will keep your last settings and your last template on there. So that's one advantage there. Do you have recorded videos? If so, where? Well, I recorded some option videos. If you go to the option section, there are some option videos that break down the different option segments at barchart.com. We'll be recording a lot of videos here at Barchart. That's going to be one of my duties here to demonstrate the features and the advantage of Barchart. Barchart is a very powerful source of information, and we just have to help educate everyone to make sure that they can utilize it to its fullest, because there's a ton of information here to help you with this. Alerts. Adding the price in the note box. Can you set alert when it breaks a 50-day moving average, for example? So there are some basic alerts, and there are some. Let's take a look at this further. Some more advanced alerts, but like I said, the example that I showed you and the example that you see here on the right-hand side that shows that red box, you have to be looking at this and logged in to know that that's been triggered. So you have to be watching that. There are some different features on the site where you can get some notifications, and that's another webinar, so that you'll automatically get a notification when something has been triggered, a price variable or some sort of technical variable. Can you screen on technicals much as moving average, moving up or above or below? Oh, definitely. So you can use that as a filter to help you find something that has moved through or through up or below a threshold, and moving average is just one example. Someone want to say thank you? Well, thank you for thanking me. Canadian data will be delayed or end of day data. I just saw that today, that the Globe and Mail data, and for my Canadian friends, as you may know or can tell by my voice, I'm from very close to Canada A, so I got a bit of the accent, and so our Canadian friends, and that data is going to be implemented soon. I just saw that announcement today at barchart.com. So I don't know the exact answer for the delayed data there, but the BATS data that we use right now is live feed. Can you display candle charts? Yeah, there are different charts that you can show on any one of these. So let me just go into the Dow, for example, and click on a chart. So if I want to expand this chart here, want to see a full chart, and you're able to do this in flip charts as well. that I'm able to change the chart type. So here we go, colored bars, candlestick, open to close. So here you've got candles. So yeah, there are 1,000,001 different combinations and variables of the way that you want this data displayed. So that's there for you. All right, so keep the questions coming. I just want to take a glance and see what's going on in the markets as we're talking, because we've got the Fed announcement here in a few minutes, and see what the market is feeling like ahead of the pretty much done deal. Well, you're seeing Facebook back off a little bit. It's up $3, but it's a pretty healthy reversal after that turnaround. It says, my brokerage provides very similar watch list tools, and I can trade also. Any thoughts? Well, Watchlist is just one of the many features here. So today is breaking down Watchlist, but we're going to get into the portfolio. We're going to get into the charts, and using all these indicators and all of the powerful information and data right here at the website. So that is the plan to break this down even further as we go on. Free members get price alerts, yes. So we're going to get the Canadian markets delayed data to start with here, because BATS is a live feed for, it's a unique situation that we've been able to integrate into the bar chart. Is the live BATS data, but Canadian data will be delayed just a minute. So Premier members can set these complex alerts where free members can get price alerts. So if you wanted a price threshold, you can get that as a free member, but a Premier member can set up based upon technicals, and you'll get some sort of live indicator sent to you. All right, let me handle a few more questions here. So it says, congratulations on the webinar. It was very useful. Hopefully it was. Thank you. Someone says, we don't trade the day of the Fed meeting. That's interesting. I try not to determine which days are good days or bad days. You know, every day is an opportunity is the way I want to look at it. Someone says, love bar chart. I appreciate that. Max or number of symbols per watch list. I had that data here. How many symbols can I add on a watch list? Up to 1,000. Now, a free member gets 20 watch lists, and a Premier member gets unlimited. Now, there are roughly 9,000 stocks, you know, here in America that we trade. So I guess you could put up to 1,000 per watch list. So you could really break it down. Someone says, thank you. Looking forward to more education. Someone says, can you change the Y scale on flip chart? Yes, you're able to change to make the graphs if you want to do linear. If you want to do, there are different variables to change the scale. There's a way to get more space on the right-hand side of the chart. Well, I have the GoToWebinar box here for this broadcast. So let me move that for a second, and let me go to my bar chart, because I'm not exactly sure if you were referring to a watch list. So we're able to remove this information on the left-hand side, but I don't see any additional information on the right-hand side. No additional space to add on that. So someone asked how many minutes futures are delayed. Futures are delayed 15 minutes. If you have additional columns, you'll be able to. There will be a toggle bar, a slider bar. If you created a custom view for your watch list, then your data may go off to the right-hand side. So you would have a slider bar to be able to do that. All right, just a handful more questions, and we got to get ready for the number. whether you're trading it or not. It'll be interesting to see that we're raising rates, but it's the language after that. If you need more help information, the help is this question mark, and there's your help on Watchlist. The help question should be on pretty much each and every page. All right, let's nail out one more here. How do you bring up the performance leaders, most actives, etc. on the left side of the screen? Well, today we wanted to feature the watch list, but there are obviously, if you click on stocks, there are different breakdowns here. So if I click on volume leaders, then the volume leaders will appear right here on the screen. All right, well, I want to thank you very much here for your questions and for your participation. There'll be more videos, there'll be more announcements. Look in your email box, and we'll be having these on a regular basis to break down the advantages and the features of barchart.com. Thank you very much.